foresee yourself eventually transitioning to nothing but not nothing but writing full time and exclusively writing, or do you love editing enough that you're always going to be doing some level of editing?
I hope to always be doing some level of editing. I mean, that was, yeah, when I moved to Austin, um, people were like, that's great, you can write full time. And I was like, who said I want to write full time? I want to write full time. Um, I love helping authors craft their books. I love it. Um, I wouldn't want to give that up unless I had to. I mean, if I was in a situation where, like, gun to my head, I had to either write my own books or edit books, I think I'd probably choose to write my own books. But, like, hopefully no one will ever put a gun to my head and make me choose.
Just choose long enough to get away from that person, and then you do whatever you want.
Yeah, totally.
However, James Caan got out of that house in misery. Do that, and then go back to whatever you want. um, and then what is the most satisfying thing about being an editor and helping an author achieve the dream of whatever book that you're working on together?
I mean, that's it, right? Like helping them achieve their dream. It feels like putting together a puzzle, and so that, like, satisfying feeling of when you, like, you know, every time you connect a piece and you're like, yes, like, that's where it goes, and then when you, like, put the last piece in and you're like, you know, you're like, there it is, it's the whole puzzle, I did it. It's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, you've helped someone achieve their dreams, you've, like, helped make something really good, you know that it would be different had it been in somebody else's hands. So, like, it makes you feel like you had a positive impact.
I know something I've talked with a number of other writers, sometimes on the show, sometimes off, about. I don't have I'm sure there probably is a word for whatever this experience is, but that experience where it's either your subconscious speaks to you, but it feels like the muse has spoken to you and presented a story solution, or you're off doing something completely unrelated to your book, and then you find the vision of whatever chapter you need, whatever story moment you need, whatever the character motivation is that was missing comes to you, and then the book is much better, and you think, well, this couldn't have been me that has been working and focusing on this whole time. This had to be something external that came through. Maybe yes, maybe no. That's a debate for folks smarter than I am. But does that same experience repeat itself when you're editing someone else's work or some version?
Yes. And it's not as, you don't spend as much time kind of like obsessing over trying to find that thing that makes it easier, because it's not your book. But yes, totally, I'll do the thing where I'm, like, you know, riding my bike and sort of like thinking through what it is that we have in somebody's book, and I'm like, what do we need? What, like, in the most recent Last Kids on Earth book example, Last Kids on Earth book as an example that I was editing, it was like, and there was this thing in it where, like, everybody really wants this thing, but it just wasn't clear why they wanted the thing. I was like, the thing is not, like, an inherently good thing to have, and people are willing, like, multiple characters are willing to sacrifice a lot in order to have it. So, like, we have to know what is motivating them to, like, want this thing so badly. And so the author and I talked for ages, just kind of round and round, you know, for multiple days, of being like, maybe the thing they want is a different thing, or, you know, maybe they want it, maybe the thing that they want actually comes with this perk or that perk or whatever it is that makes it a thing that's worth having. And ultimately, I mean, we went through so many different ideas, and ultimately the author pitched something. He was like, maybe if you had this thing, then, like, you know, then you could also, like, do this other thing that like would be beneficial. And I was like, okay, like, I was like, you have something there. It's not exactly that. It's not exactly the thing you just said, but I think it's going to be something like similar to that, sort of like taking the idea that you had, but like twisting it in this way. And that feels like really rewarding. You're like, yeah, there is a problem, and, like, I help solve it.